Hello, I am back to recap episode 10 of Australian Survivor Titans vs. Rebels. So, before we even into everything, we go back to Camp. Eileen on the new Titans tribe says she didn't vote for Kirby, already doing that damage control, which is amazing. I love how quickly she went from actively saying I didn't vote you, Kirby, for self-preservation. That's amazing. And that's exactly what you want to do. Like in a situation where you are left out of the vote or you are blindsided or not included in the end, the best thing you can do is first of all, trying to get back in because a lot of people kind of just don't bother and they'll be salty and pissy about it. And then people will be like, oh, well, they're never going to work with us again. They've got to go. I think Eileen's definitely trying to be adaptable, which is what you need to do in these situations. So, credit to Eileen for that one. But maybe next time she should have done it one-on-one, not in front of the entire tribe. Because she did it at the end of Tribal Council, right before they were going to, walk back to camp and in front of everyone. And obviously, it's great that she's doing it. But it's bad that she's doing it publicly because everyone can see that, including Ferris and Raymond, two people who were or are working with her, right? Who she has been tight with and has been actively working with these past few rounds. So it's not great that she looks like a flip-flopper who's kind of desperate going into this, being like, I'm going to, tell you that I didn't vote for you, Kirby. Ferris and Raymond did, but I didn't. It's like, okay, I get what you're doing, but do that behind closed doors. Like, if you're going to subtly throw them under the bus, do it behind. Don't do it in front, because if you do it in front, it's just gonna make them wary of you and make your own allies be like, oh, is she dipping on us? Is she not loyal? And that, you never want that. You don't want your allies or people you were working with to question you, because then they'll try and flip on you first, and that's what we've seen earlier this season where when other tribals with the always vote out and whatever else, right? So we get back to, well, she said that she was doing it because she knew she was on the outside to Gareth, which is fine. I'm talking about Eileen. They get back to camp, their tribe, and their whole tribe is like, so who voted Kelly? And Eileen was like, I voted Kelly, and I don't have an issue. And she was like, I don't have an issue with voting Kelly, but Kelly has an issue with me because I voted her. Which, as I said, if I was Eileen, I would have voted one of the OG Titans. But obviously, that doesn't really matter. As I said, it just comes down to Kelly's the type of player where if you vote her once, she's going to be skeptical of you again and again. And, I mean, what can you do? I don't fault Eileen too much. I mean, I agree. I think Kelly is the only one who seems to really care that Kelly got a vote. Obviously, her allies Scott and Kirby were like, oh, we don't want Kelly to go, but it's fine that she has a vote. You know what I mean? That's not the end of the world. Your game isn't over. You're still in it. You still have a shot at winning. So it's okay, Kelly. Anyways, and I think for me, Eileen says Ferris has an idol. No, Eileen says that she thinks Kelly has an idol. Kelly says she thinks Ferris has an idol because he didn't take for his friend, aka Gareth, who got eliminated last episode. And, I mean, or, the episode last before they tried. And I think it's interesting because Ferris is, says he needs to start singing Kumbaya. He's got to start singing positive songs because if he shows any sort of, saltiness, his game is toast, essentially. And just I really like this from Ferris because he's self-aware enough and he's a big enough fan, or is a super fan enough, a big enough fan to know the common mistakes people make when people be pissed at a vote and then just completely cut them off and not be willing to hit them out any of that stuff. So good on Ferris for that one because there's a lot of people who aren't game savvy like that. We head back to the new Rebels camp. Rihanna tells us she voted for Mark because Caroline and Kenny told her to do it. She was trying to build trust, and I mean, I think it could help her, but going forward on the tribe, she at least is trying to better her positioning, which is something at least. And I know part of it is me. Part of me is curious why she didn't side with Mark, but she went with her gut, so I can't fault her for that, even though it's not great another rebel went home from just OG rebels compared to Titans. I mean, that's not great. If you could ideally get rid of the Titan, that would have been better for Rihanna, but it's fine because I always say Survivor incentivizes you to stick with your original tribe more. And it's the same with everyone else. If someone else is on a different tribe, it incentivizes them to stick with their original tribe more. But it doesn't really matter. Anyways, we go into we don't go into anything yet. First, even though hypothetically we could have seen Mark, Rihanna, and Alex and Sarah stick together, but now that we see that isn't an option since Sarah was really enough the OG Titans in Eden, Kitty, Carry On, and Jaden are the majority. And once again, you could think Jaden is a crucial swing vote that they could try to get on their side. But the thing is, Jaden's a passive player. You actually don't want passive players to be deciding votes. That's risky as hell. And that's the problem with people like Jaden in the game who don't know to show it. Because it's like playing with him is awful. Because you know he's never going to do anything. He's just going to go with whatever. So that's not great. We head back to the New Titans camp again, and Aileen asked Kirby to chat, and she says no, which that's awkward, and that's also great. So that's kind of an oofy. And she's like, "Yeah, I was swimming with Scott." So not the best move from Kirby. She should have at least said we'll talk later, but we see them talking later anyway. So I don't. It's fine. It doesn't matter too much. Kelly tells Aileen she's upset she wrote her name down, and as I said before, Aileen doesn't care. Aileen is like, sure, I'm sorry, whatever. Which is, so relatable. Exactly. Who cares? It's a vote, get over it. Move on. Just survival, wake up. Anyways, we see. My phone turned off with my notes on it. Beautiful. We love that. Kelly tells Aileen she's upset with her name, and obviously Kelly, you can want revenge and to want Aileen out, but don't make it public knowledge. You're gonna tell her that, hey, I have no intention of working with you going forward. It's like, oh, okay. You can want her going like Mark did with the Middle Age Mafia, but maybe just like hide your intentions. Don't like actively be you know what I mean? Like Gareth did to Kirby, but he's like, I would have rattled, mate. You can say you feel betrayed. You can say that you trusted him, but you can't. Like, going on a massive tangent is not going to do anything for your case or for your trust factor. You know what I mean? Because it's just going to be like, if I'm Aileen going into the subject, okay, well, then Kelly has to go as soon as possible. She's never going to work with me. And that's just one hypothetical scenario, right? Aileen tells us she might have to work with the enemy, and I'll quickly brief over that. It's good that she isn't attached to her alliance with like Ferris and Raymond, however. And it's good that she's willing to get off this sinking ship, as people have to call it, if she thinks it's a sinking one. Adaptability is one of those main skills you need in survival, where you need to be able to know when something is worth fighting for and when it isn't in order to save yourself. And Survivor, and it's also good to see that she's a super fan because obviously she knows the game. So it's good to see that from a super fan specifically, to see her know what she needs to do, and that makes her rootable. For the challenge, each tribe is going to climb over a cargo net, collecting bowls as they go, and then they will use poles to transport those bowls over a series of obstacles and up into a tower, and then finally one of them will attempt to shoot bowls into a net held by the rest of their tribe mates. First tribe to end all their bowls wins immunity and is safe from the vote. Users go tribal, non-person voted out of Australian Survivor, Titans vs Rebels, blah blah. You get the point, right? So, New Titans need to sit two people out. Aileen and Valeria sit out. The New Titans tribe ends up using the challenge, and the New Rebels tribe is safe from tribal. The only real thing that happened is Scott tells people to squeeze the bowls on the poles, which is pretty valid. I mean, that's what you kind of need to do in order to keep it stable, you know what I mean? Eileen and Valeria strategizing mid-challenge is great. That's exactly what you should be doing, talking strategy with other people while you're sitting out, because, I mean, you've got nothing better to do. And if you're not going to be doing it at camp, if you are, like, a secretly strategizing, as we've seen people talk about, like, secretly strategizing in the night or doing it in the morning, having a quick little chat in here and there, when you're not making it public that these are your people or that these are your main priorities, you know what I mean? Because obviously hiding your alliances is in Survivor. In Big Brother, it's easier to hide your alliances because you're in a house behind walls. In Survivor, it's public. You can see people talking to each other, so it's good that we're getting that from that perspective. And yeah, I mean, the new Rebels tribe, it just ignored Jaden when Jaden's like, go faster. And it's funny, but it also shows how people feel about Jaden as a player in the game, as they're not taking him seriously, which scares me for his perception as a winner and his chances as a winner, as he's kind of getting trolled. But Jaden does shoot all the bowls in a row and win for his tribe, so that's something, I guess. Jaden celebrating way too much, which would just piss me off. If I was any of the OG Rebels who haven't been on a tribe with him, I'd be like, shut up. I'd be like, dude, you are making me want to target you just because you're celebrating. Dude, shut up. Yeah, you're literally putting a target in your back for no reason. Like, it's not good gameplay. Like, the amount of horrible gameplay we are seeing from Jaden is every episode just, oh my god. Like, where did you guys find him? Like, anyways, the new Titans tribe gets back to camp after using their Jaden the challenge and using, and Valeria says, remember Jaden doesn't have any other skills than throwing and kicking and hitting everyone. And I know Jaden is a character, but I kind of agree. At least in the game, he's not really adding much. And I don't need people like Jaden in future casts. I just don't need it. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I get he's likable and he's funny, but like, I agree. Not wrong for the area. You're not wrong there. Valeria, Charles, Kirby with Valeria saying, let's do a 3-3-3 split. I said a 3-3-3-3 as in there's 12 people. I meant to say 3-3-3, which is 9 people, which is a 3-3 split because there are 6 people. And yeah, that is the ideal strategy if you have 6 out of 9 to make sure you are splitting votes so you can, who you feel solid enough with where you can split both. And that would be idiotic if you didn't do that, because that's what you should be doing. Every tribal ideally spin the votes on the minority if you have the numbers, and that's what I would be doing. That's what I push for when I play like online reality games or LRGs. That's what I do as well. So I am butts in on a combo with Charles, Kirby, and Valeria, but Charles says give us a minute. Like 1 minute. You could call this bad gameplay, but as long as it's 3-3 on 2 of either Raymond, Varys, or Eileen, it really doesn't matter. So I don't fault Charles for that at all, especially because they were limited based on how much they could talk before Tribal Council because of like the twist later on that pops up in the episode that we will get into. And yeah, obviously you want to make sure your main priority is set, and plus with 6 people out of 9, they can just split the vote. So honestly, Charles saying that isn't bad gameplay from my perspective. Like, I'd do the same thing at that point. Like, if I needed to lock in a plan, I would be like, no, sorry. Yeah, come back later. So, yeah, cool. Anyways, because then, even if, no, I already explained that. So basically, we know Varys has an idol. He can't play the. Well, he could play it himself, but hypothetically, he might not. And then. Yeah, I mean, Charles obviously can make decoy plans with Valeria and Winner going forward, and they can make, like, decoy plans with Eileen and whoever else, because we see that their plan is to split votes on Eileen and Varys, with Varys being their main target and Eileen being the decoy. Kirby says she, Kelly, and Scott are fine getting the OT Titans, aka winner Valerie and Charles, decides the can so they feel more comfortable. Which is a tactic we see in Survival where people are in alliances to symbiotize trust, and they will be like, we'll vote who you want so to prove my loyalty to you. So good play for Kirby, Scott, and Callie as gives them an in with the Titans going forward into a possible merge as long as they don't limit their options by burning all their bridges with OT Rebels, just the OT Rebels tribe, or tribe mates, you could say, or yet the OT Titans get their numerical advantage. It works great since we've seen this is the crew Kirby, Scott, Callie want to work with going forward. Even though, as I said, I would have stayed OT Rebels strong if I were them, but obviously it doesn't matter what could have happened. It matters what did happen and what will happen, what their plans are going forward. If it ties 3-3, so 3 on Ferris, 3 on Ryan, and it ties between them and the 6, aka the 3 OT Titans, winner Valerie and Charles, plus Kirby, Scott, and Callie are voting for Ferris. So if Ferris has an idol and plays it hypothetically, Eileen would be screwed. As I said before, decent plan. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Valerie and Charles discuss getting Eileen to find out if Ferris has an idol. Eileen confirms he has an idol, and they come up with a plan where they're telling Eileen, we're splitting votes on Raymond and Tez Ferris has an idol, when in actuality they're splitting votes on Eileen, but they're not going to tell Eileen that, so obviously they're going to say Raymond, the third other person not in the, who is in the minority now. But all Eileen knows is she's in minority and she needs to do something. So she says if her hair is down, Ferris has an idol, but she's saying this to build trust with OT Titans, so she doesn't know if Ferris or not. Ferris has the idol or not, because Ferris hasn't showed her. He's only mentioned it. And regardless if she thinks he has it or not, she puts her head down to let them know, hey, like, I am with you guys, blah, blah. And because she's in self-preservation mode. Eileen is a super fan. She doesn't want to go home. She knows every day in this game is different. She can just survive one more day, one more tribal. The game can change, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I'd probably do the same thing if I was Eileen. So, yeah, not bad gameplay there. And then, yeah, obviously, it's... I don't blame Eileen for trying to get off a sinking ship. Like, that's what you want to do, but Ferris notices Eileen is trying to be buddy-buddy with the other alliances, aka the 3 OT Titans and the Kirby, Scott, Kelly trio. Or you could just call them the 6 if you're talking about like all 6 of them, because that's easier. Ferris notices Charles, Winner, and Valerie have an alliance called the Free Beans, which is iconic. I don't know why they weren't shown more in the episode. I mean, I know they only made that alliance probably just due to them all being in minority on swap, but that's a great alliance name. Yeah. Especially if Valeria is the winner, which I seem to think Valeria is going to win this season. I don't see why they wouldn't put that in as a more important storyline, since they're supposed to be following the winner. You know what I mean? No pun intended with the guy's name being winner. I meant the winner of this season. Anyways, we get flashbacks to Winner finding his idol and him saying he hasn't told anyone about it, at least on this cam. And once again, I can't confirm or deny if Jaden knows about the lights or not, because the edit isn't telling us. So, another unanswered question that hopefully we'll get an answer to, but if we don't, then that sucks. Ferris mentions how he would never write down Raymond's name, and says how he's the only one he can trust fully. And I think it's interesting this post-season, I've been watching people's interviews, yet they're eliminated castaways, and yet they're Yamani. And every one of them are like, I love Raymond. Raymond is so good. I wish I could have worked with Raymond going forward, blah, blah, whatever, right? And it's like, damn, Raymond is doing something right socially. They're not giving him nearly as enough credit as he needs. Scott, Kelly, and Raymond have a hilarious combo talking about loyalty. Raymond seems to be leaning towards voting Eileen out, since he has to pick between Ferris and Eileen. Ferris discusses not using his idol, which is awful, but just look at their numbers. If you look if you know you're in minority and the six won't break up, you have to get your idol to make sure it's not you. So, not great from Ferris here, but whatever. Ferris tells Kirby he thinks she's sitting in the best position, and Kirby says, "Yeah, I think so too," which is great TV. That's hilarious. Like, I mean, yeah, obviously you don't want to admit that you're playing a good game, at least to the other castaway who are still in the game. But I mean, hey, it's funny. Like, it's good TV. It's bad strategy. The strategy wise, it's awful. But it's funny. We had the tribal Aileen talk openly about how the rebels should be OG rebel strong, which yeah, they should be. I've been saying that. I think yeah, I've said the whole pitch about Survivor incentivizing you to stay loyal to your original tribe. Blah blah. You've all heard my pitch before, which is true. It's the accurate play by Aileen. But then and you could say this is a bad move because then Charles and Valerie are like, we stripped our neckouts for you. But it really doesn't matter because there's a twist. So, yeah. Who cares, I guess. Anyways, Valeria calls out Barris. Barris responds, and yeah, I'm yapping to talkative open tribal, but gameplay wise, it's not great. You ideally want to keep your cards close to your chest. But it doesn't even matter. He did a twist, which is revealed. So, twist is only 3 people can vote tonight. Everyone else can't vote, and they must do a challenge to keep their vote, which, yeah, I don't like this. I think using your vote is horrible. Like, that's the only leverage you have going into the game that puts you and everyone else on the same playing field. So I don't taking away that just kind of defeats the whole purpose of even having the vote in the first place. Literally, I'm being in the majority alliance. I also think it's not great when it comes to it helps people good at challenges. Challenge based because they're more likely to win. And we've seen this with Simon Me, Hidoriyasu, and the Strands of Heroes villains. The challenge base will get to keep their vote and be immune. For what? Throwing a beanbag? It defeats the whole purpose of them using immunity. And it really F's over the people who aren't good at challenges. And if you know me, I hate the whole keeping the tribe strong mentality, so it scares me that Transpire is a good product, and I'm going to hopefully going to win and get on there one day, very soon. But yeah, it's not great. Each individual person must race to build a frame with blocks, and they will toss scene back. Yes, Flaming Wombat, I see you in the chat. Moving on. Each individual person must race to build a frame with blocks. Then we'll see them toss sandbags through the frame and yast it on the barrels. If they go over their frame, they will. If they knock over their frame, they'll have to rebuild it. The first 3 people to the end, 3 sandbags will earn their vote tonight at tribal and be immune from the vote. And with only 3 people, there is a very OP, overpowered. That's very overpowered, as you can tell, with only 3 votes. That's OP as, and very crucial, so you want to win. Skip Tying getting her vote and immunity first, then Kirby, then Ferris. Those are the only 3 people who can vote. They're all immune, blah, blah, blah. We get the point. Ferris and Aileen split their votes on OG Titans. To nobody's surprise, or at least not mine. I mean, logically, they're both super fans, and they both understand that they need to start getting rid of the OG Titans. I mean, duh, obviously. You don't want to be from your original tribe going down in numbers into the merge. That is not what you want. Absolutely not, bro. Not happening. And then revote. Yeah, we get into the revote, but first they split their votes. So they're going to split their votes 1-1. So when the revote happens, they can guarantee an OT Titan goes. So the only good thing about Winter telling his allies he has an idol is he looks trustworthy, but past that, I mean, he was forced to play it. He ends up wasting it, which isn't great. But he was in a tough spot, which isn't great, but I mean, it is what it is. So the winners put Alright, so mainly Survivor. Oh yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, winner says not on himself. 1 vote for winner is void. 2 votes. Yeah, 1 vote for Raymond. 1 vote for Charles, and then we see Charles' face, and he knows he's going on the revote. It's 2-1 Charles. It's a 2-1 vote. Charles goes with Aileen and Ferris voting for him. And then this is the part where we talk about Charles' game, his potential as a player, my predictions for the season, and just tonight's episode, well, coming out in about 3 hours and a half. So first of all, Charles, we should have had more screen time. I wish we had more screen time from Charles. Because, like, I didn't really know what he was thinking. I mean, he's a super fan, which is even more devastating because it's just like Mel from Blood vs. Water, where you're getting these super fans who don't know. They, like, dream of this their whole lives, and then they just get, like, nothing. And just, like... But I don't think this will be the end of us seeing Charles. I think Charles will be back in the future season, but Charles isn't going to admit that to us yet until it's like public, right? But that's my little theory. I think Charles will come back because, I mean, how can you not invite Charles back after an elimination like that? What a way to go out. Another thing I want to point out is, like, pre-season, I was like, Charles is a super fan, but I don't think he's going to win. I was right. However, obviously, he was in a good spot, and had this twist not popped up, I think he could have been one of the front runners to win. And another thing is, like, even though in the Australian Survivor, everyone was like, oh, Charles doesn't really have many alliance priorities, right? Like, he isn't in alliances. He's not a priority. He doesn't have something like the Middle Age Mafia or the Cuddle Crew or, like, these alliances, you know what I mean? If he doesn't have anyone. It's like, I think that was intentional. I think that was strictly intentional because Charles is a super fan. I think Charles knew he needed to play the middle, and I think he was actively playing the middle extremely well. And I think everyone would have wanted to work with Charles going forward, except for, like, Aileen, Ferris. But even them, they were willing. The only reason they didn't was because they're also super fans. So you know what I mean? Like, I think Charles had mad potential where he could have gone really, really deep, but he just one twist and he's gone. He's done. And yeah, I mean, him saying, I feel like I can't work with you, I probably wouldn't announce that at a tribal council. I'd think that to myself, but saying that, yeah, not great. But at that point, Charles is a straight cheater. Or at least that's the vibe I've been getting. And I'm also tend to be a straight cheater, but I'm not going to tell someone you're on the bottom. But I also understand that, I mean, going to that tribal, Charles had no reason to be worried because he was in the majority. He was going to be in the rest of the vote. He was dictating the tribe. The 3 beings, as I said before, himself, Valria, and Winner were the majority. They were the trio who were running the game. And because Viola is gone, Valria is more likely to actually be loyal to Charles as, like, her number 1 potentially. Depending on Mark, I don't know if Mark survived the swap, hypothetically, right? And then I can make a whole thing about hypotheticals after the season about what could have happened. But yeah, if we're looking at Charles stuck around, right? Just saying, like, I think he could have done really, really well. And I'm surprised he got taken out. But I'm also not surprised because the edit, obviously, we weren't really getting much from Charles. And I just wish we had more of him just saying he was playing the middle. Even if he had, like, no active alliances, I wish we had more of him being like, yeah, I'm playing the middle right now, I'm tired, I can see all the alliances, it's very obvious, but yeah, blah, 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 whatever, right? So basically how Aileen and Scott started on Rebels, but instead it would be on Titans. It would be Charles being like, I'm a super fan, I know this game, which we kind of got that in this intro package, but we also didn't really. And I'm just like, you or me, who has like actively Google Charles and like study Charles. That sounds like I stalk. Okay, I don't stalk people's social media. I just want to do a deep dive. I want to know everything about them. I want to dissect their game, and I want to help dissect their game. I want to know everything about their game. And it sucks because Charles had potential, but hey, yeah, as I said, I think he could come back. But now here's the fun part. The fun part is what is going to happen going forward. So obviously, winner Yost is like the main user of this entire episode is a winner, bro. Poor winner, dude. Like, he goes to tribal, he uses his vote, he uses his idol, and he uses one of his only allies. Well, you could say one of his. I mean, winner has allies with Kirby, Scott, Kelly, and Belria, and Jaden from another tribe, and probably he is more incentivized to stay with the IQ Titans, so that Aiden, Kenny, Mark carry on as well. But like, this man, I feel so bad for him. Like, he had the second worst night last night, other than Charles, obviously. Poor Charles. Like, I still, like, the recap of Charles' face, he just knew. He looked devastated. But I feel like he already knew that coming in. Like, I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he would have seen it coming because the OTT, it makes the most sense to spit both. And I didn't understand why people were so shocked that Ferris and Aileen would spit both. Like, they're super fans. Of course they're going to spit both. And I know they're not getting told that. Like, Aileen and Ferris aren't going to go up and be like, we're super fans. We studied this game. Me, love this game. We've been watching for decades. But, I mean, it is what it is, right? I just think it's really interesting because, yeah, obviously, our good friend winner, Bro, lost his idol. His little idol is now gone, and we just see. It's interesting. It sets up what are the potential alliances going to merge, and I will get into that in my week 3 and 4 recap. What I think the alliances will be, and like all that jazz. But I think for me, going into tonight's episode, the people we're obviously worried about Mark. Mark's obviously an easy person on the OG, on the new Rebels tribe. I think he's an easy picking. We're also potentially looking at Jaden. I know Jaden has gotten screen time, and there's no real reason to turn on Jaden, but if we're just looking at the game, I mean, he's not. Who's gonna go out of their way to save Jaden other than winner? You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like anyone's going to go out their way to save Jaden unless they're like, dragging him to the end because it's like an easy beat or whatever. Even though he is likable, so he does have that going for him. I think, yeah. I mean, where do you even like? What do I say? That is the main thing, right? I think the middle-aged mafia, their alliance is great. I like how like we have some alliances where like if you mention them in the real world, like outside, like if I wasn't streaming this right now and I was like the middle-aged mafia or like the cuddle crew, everyone would be like, what are you on about? What are you talking about? But yeah, you guys get it. I feel like winner. Well, obviously Ferris still has an idol. Him, Raymond, and Eileen going into the merge. I think they're gonna be down in numbers. I think if we're talking about the merge, Kirby, Scott, Kelly, Rihanna, Alex could be a potential group of 5 that could be working together going into the merge. Because I'm trying to think about what would be the 2 opposing sides. Obviously, there's going to be like different fractures and alliances and stuff, but yeah. The middle-aged mafia would probably be like one side of the 2 factions at the war for the war at merge, right? So that would be Aiden, Kitty, Carrion, probably Jaden, Winner, Valeria, Mark if he survives, even though he'll flip on them eventually. That's 7, right? that's majority hypothetically, depending on when merges. Normally it's like final 13, final 12. Depends if they count first member of our jury, because I think juries normally, the first one of the jury normally get removed. Like, the first juror isn't counted, like Andy and Champions vs. Contenders too. So if they're doing that, I don't know. But anyways, I think there's that crew, and then the opposing crew would be Ferris, Eileen, Raymond. Yeah, obviously I think none of them have any likelihood of winning, which, I mean, sucks. And it's really interesting because, like, Ferris on Twitter was like, oh yeah, the Ferris haters gone quiet tonight. Ferris, I want to make this very clear. If you ever see this, I am not a Ferris hater. However, did I want another King George on my screen? No, I didn't. And I'm happy because you are a likable dude. Like, Princess, and I was like, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him. And, like, even though I am waiting for your downfall, I think I'm gonna be sad about your elimination. You know what I mean? If it happens, like, I think I'm gonna be like, oh, this sucks. What? You had a good run. Because before I was like, screw Ferris, screw Ferris, screw Ferris, and now I'm like, you know what, Ferris? I want you to stick around to the merge at least. I want you to get maybe a top 7. But after that, it's like your threat level is gone. Like him and Kirby, too big of a targets. Too big. Alex and Valria being the final 2. I don't know how on earth that will happen. But if that does happen, I called it from like episode 7, I think, in my recaps. That, like, they're the final 2 and that Valria is going to win. Because, yeah, I mean, Valria once again got so much screen time. And it's like, I get it, but also I feel like I don't know who half these people are. Like, if I was a casual watching this, I'd be like, I don't know who these people are. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously I do know who these people are, but yeah, I mean, the editing is getting better, I'll say that. They could work on it, but I think they're moving. The Australian Survivor is getting better at it at Channel 10. Whoever's editing it, put it that way. The producers, the editing thing, they're getting better at it. So good job, guys. And also cast me because, like, I want to break the stereotype of, like, keeping the tribe strong because that's gross. Like, bye. Get rid of that. That's disgusting. Anyways, thank you all for watching. There's not really much else to say. I am curious as to, obviously, if we're talking about who I'm rooting for, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but obviously the people I'm rooting for are like the super fans, right? So Caroline, I think Kitty's a super fan or a big fan. Aiden, I was rooting for Charles, even though I didn't pick him on my draft because I didn't see him winning just based on the way he spoke. So that sucked. Yeah, because he's a lawyer, and I think just the way, Charles would say something like, collaboration. And I'm like, bro, if I was on a tribe with someone who said collaboration at tribal council, I'd be like, this dude is so fucking smart. Or I'd just be like, this dude is dangerous. Like, that guy is in a heavy profession. Anyways, I mean, he's a lawyer, so you'd hope he knows what he's doing, put it that way. Like, Charles is the type of guy where you're like, he's gonna save my butt. I hope that show, I'm pretty sure when Raymond gets eliminated, because I'm pretty sure Raymond will get eliminated at some point, I'm hoping the show gives him the credit he deserves when it comes to his social game, because Raymond's been doing amazing socially. I didn't realize it because the Cuddle Crew was kind of isolating him, but there's a reason why his name isn't popping up. So that's really good. Anyways, thank you all for watching. And till next time, which will be tomorrow. Peace out.